right, so welcome back to another episode of Backstage with DJ. And my guest today, his band was my first concert I ever went to. I've seen them twice now. Welcome to the show, Brooks Betts from Mayday Parade.
Hey guys, yeah, thanks Daniel, I appreciate you.
Appreciate you coming. So you guys are celebrating 20 years as a band, and that's crazy for me to even think about because I'm 20 years old myself. So how does that feel to be coming up on 2 decades?
It feels great. It's just because it's one of those things where I never really thought that we would end up doing this for 20 years, you know. I think the shelf life of a lot of bands is about, 5 to 10. You know what I mean? Like it just the turnover's quick. It's a tough industry. It's hard to like tour your ass off. Can I say that? Your butt off.
No problem. Let it fly.
And then continue to try and like have relationships at home, family, friends, all of that, and a lot of bands can't survive that, it's a tough thing if you're not consistently hitting and producing. And I think we just came from a mentality that a grind mentality, and that has paid off.
Yeah, it's been really fun to see you guys grow as a band. I mean, over the past 20 years, so many different things have happened in our culture and just everything around us. I mean, even just COVID in the past couple of years. So that's really cool that you guys have survived that long. And because like you were saying, it's so difficult for a band to survive like through all the different challenges.
Definitely. It was almost like COVID was a welcoming break for us because we never stopped. Through all those 20 years, where we're at now, I suppose, 20 years, through all of that, that was the only time we ever kind of sat back for a moment, which is a part of, again, that grind mentality and it just never felt like there was a moment to breathe, which is fine. Like I think we do that because we enjoy doing it. But also there's like that fear of being forgotten or falling off, and it just never happened. And COVID gave everybody an excuse to not have to tour, and we did try to do other things. We were still working through that. And we did what a lot of bands were doing with the live streaming shows.
Yeah.
We did a handful of those that were really cool. And we just did whatever we could to kind of like still stay in people's minds. But we never break. I mean, we're still putting together tours, we're still putting together routing, for next year, or sorry, this year now. And we're looking at it going, we're not slowing down. Like we say we should slow down a little bit, yet we just never do it.
Yeah. Me and my friend were talking about it. You guys always seem to be on like all the tour lineups like every summer. Like I saw you guys on Sad Summerfest in 2022, and then I saw you opening up for Yellow Card too.
Right. Yeah. It's just, it keeps going, and then of course we've got like international stuff. I mean, we're in the middle of putting, out these releases right now. You know what I mean? So like we're putting new music out, and you know how that goes. Like, no, you're not going to put out new music and not tour on it.
No, totally.
Yeah.
So to go on the tour, you got that coming up. I believe you're going to be starting on April 22nd in St. Petersburg, Florida, and then ending it in Tallahassee, Florida on June 7th, which is a hometown show for you guys.
Yeah. That's where we're all from. That's why, you say like I live in New Jersey now, but, and I suppose that's how I kind of usually say it. Like I live in New Jersey, I'm from Florida, and we all are from that area. Yeah.
So have you been preparing for the upcoming tour? When do like your rehearsals start? Have you got any ideas for the set list?
We are still putting all that together. It's certainly a special run that we're putting together, and a special tour and set list that we'll have to sort out I think it's one of those things where we're trying to go above and beyond what we've done in the past and really make it, a 20-year thing. And but it's still, there's so much to be decided. You have so many albums, so many songs. You want to represent everything. You also want to make sure that you're playing what everybody wants to hear. And you've got, there's always that decision to be made between, do you play stuff that you don't ever play on tour, like deeper cuts here and there? Do we rotate some of those songs in because there's fans who come to a lot of shows, or do you treat it as if, the majority of people in the room have never seen you play live before, and you give them, all their faves? And I'm of the mentality of doing that, right? But that's kind of like a big decision, that we have to go over as a band, and we're not done yet.
Yeah, it's definitely hard. I mean, coming up on this, like you want to be able to span your whole career maybe because it's celebrating the 20 years of you guys being a band, and that's definitely a major milestone. You're definitely going to be having a lot of your big fans come out since it's a headlining tour too.
Oh yeah, yeah, and I'm hoping that some of the new music is going to help with that, and it's one of those things where like, we're basically putting together album 8, you know, and I'm super proud of some of the stuff that we're doing with that one, and I'm just hoping that it's one of those things where we get some reaction out of it, but it almost doesn't matter, I love it when you have a song that people enjoy, like Piece of Your Heart, or something like that. Even like More Like a Crash recently has been a good one that people have been drawn towards. I'm hoping that we have something that's that caliber,
Yeah.
but that's a great driver that will help, push those tickets, get more people in the room.
Yeah. So I saw you guys got your new album titled Sweet that comes out April 18th. And I understand that's part of a trilogy you guys are working on?
Right, yeah. So we're putting to we're recording a lot more music than we had in the past. I think we've always been pretty consistent and kind of scheduled in a way with our releases. Like I said, just kind of working and working all the time. It's like you go in, you're writing music, you're recording music, you're releasing it, you're touring on it, and about the time that you get done kind of doing your world routing, your world tour routing,
Hmm.
you're kind of gearing up for the next one. But I guess it's taken 8 years to do, or I'm sorry, 20 years to get around to album 8. To me, it's always felt like we were putting out almost like too much music. I'm like, but that's kind of like looking at like albums in a classic sense, where when you
Mm.
look at a lot of bands, it feels like they didn't put out that many records. Some did, and some didn't. But then I'm kind of getting on more to the idea of and really liking the idea of putting out more these days than being like super precious with everything, and just kind of getting out a lot of music. And the hope is that just by being creative and creating new music, people are interested in it. You get like great songs, and then you get some songs that are just out there because we wanted to do them, and hopefully the fans love those too, or just enjoy them as well, because you're creating something for them. It's for the listener.
Yeah, definitely. So a big question I had for you was, what do you think a defining moment was for you in your career? And when did you start to figure out that Mayday Parade was what you wanted to do for the rest of for like your life?
Mayday Parade as a band was certainly its own story. Before that, I would say 10th grade was when I realized that I was going to give it a real shot, and that was a band before, right? So, um, me and Derek had been in bands since like 7th grade, and this other band, which actually was called Defining Moment, um, was a band that Jeremy, our bass player, was also in. And but like starting in like 10th grade, I just kind of clicked with me that like, hey, I don't think I really want to go to college, not that I didn't want to go to college, I suppose, more so that I just knew that in order to do music, that wasn't going to really work. So while I was young, I really kind of pushed our young band to like consider like going on the road, giving that a shot. You could take a couple years and really see and where that goes. And then you could pick up whatever else later if that fails. And in the interim of figuring all that out, getting out of high school and starting to tour with that band, we sort of worked out a new lineup and a new combination of members with the band Mayday Parade, which turned out to be much better written music, I suppose. That's hard to say. Like, I think we were doing really cool music before, but I think the combination of members that we had put together certainly raised the bar and just felt right. And it really kind of took off. We kind of took all of our like business approach to touring and marketing ourselves from everything we had learned previous, and just kept rolling with Mayday Parade, and it had relatively quick success in doing that. But the whole time there was a big lead up, of work and understanding of how to tour and how to try to put yourself out there even before Mayday Parade was in existence.
So you guys had a very DIY mindset when you were going into it.
Yeah, I mean, the world was different back then. I mean, like in high school, I was spending a lot of time booking our tours, like senior year
Oh
for the band
wow.
previous, right? And there was a site, it was like byofl.org, which was like book your own fucking life.org. And it was like this like database of promoters, venues, labels, managers, whatever else, and then that list of venues would include like, VFW halls and, all these small cap rooms that you could get started with. And that's what I did. I made phone calls. I emailed, I sent out press packets physically in the mail with a CD and one sheets and bios, and followed up and created a routing and, put the puzzle together. And, we took some college money and put that into, a van and trailer, and we all, we had our equipment, but then, we just kind of made it work. We lived cheaply on the road, and we like kind of just got gas money and a bit to eat and stayed on people's floors and, asked over the mic every night if can we, if anybody's got a place to stay, that'd be awesome. And it was a good time when you could do that when you're young, and that's the time to do it. Right. And
Yeah.
figure it out. And because we could draw really well in our hometown, the venues, they would always give us the regional and national touring acts, because there would be these bands that would come through that needed help. They needed help drawing. They weren't drawing that great, but we knew who they were, because they were bands that were on Trustkill or Victory Records or whatever. And we were fans of whatever those bands were. And then as kids, I guess we were good enough that they kind of respected us, especially because we were younger compared to them. And we got to pick brains and ask questions. And bit by bit, we just put it together. We just figured out how to do it,
Yeah.
through through example.
Hearing you talk about that's definitely really inspiring for me because I'm in my second year of college right now, and I've definitely been in my like hustling phase, if you want to call it that, with my YouTube and stuff like that. And I've been trying to start a band for a while now. So hearing that, it definitely sounds like the hard work pays off.
It is, yeah. And I always told people, and I still tell, like I have tons of clients, like, students, and I don't always like to call it all like students because there's a lot of people I just songwrite with. Actually, the last session I was on right before I got on here is a guy who's a great musician, and he even records other bands and stuff. And there's a lot of people I work with who all we do is write music together,
Hmm.
on a session. And so I like to call them sessions, right? But I always tell these people, whether they're an aspiring artist or whatever it is, or they're just getting started with guitar, or they're, yeah, like I said, like proficient artists who are writing music and trying to put themselves out there more, that if you treat it like a hobby, it's going to be a hobby. You know what I mean? Like if you treat it like a job, it might be your job, because nobody's going to take you serious if you don't take yourself serious, and if you're not showing those people that you need to like partner with, whether it's a label or a manager or booking agent, which are the big ones, right? That you kind of need. I don't know if the label's so important these days, but you definitely need some connections. A lot of that's going to come through an agent, a booking agent,
Mm.
and a manager. And without those things, you're not it's well, sorry. Without doing the work and showing the example, showing your work, these people are not going to take you serious, right? So if you're not touring, if you're not playing shows as often as you can, I mean, you should be at least regionally trying to make a rounds, right? And then if you're not selling out rooms, if you can't sell out a 300 cap venue in your hometown, you're not doing it right. So, whatever that is, whether you're not promoting it right, you don't have the right songs, you don't have you don't have the connection with the venue, maybe, in order to like establish yourself at that venue properly so that they like give you the chance to start growing your fan base in your hometown, you know. But that's what people are looking for. They're looking for serious artists who are going to back it up. Just like if you're in school, right? And you get out of college and you're going to go get a job. Like, I mean, in some cases your degree is great, right? And that's going to get you in, but there's 1,000 people with that degree, right? And then
Yeah.
without the work experience or the know-how, you're the other guy who's been an intern for 2 years is going to get the job over you. You know what I mean? And it's the
Yeah,
same thing.
100%.
You got to take all these real world thoughts and ideas and apply them to what music is, because that it's the same thing. Like it's a business. um it's a creative business, and it's music, and it's supposed to be art, right? And that is what it is, right? But if you want success in it, whatever that equals to you, whatever success is, like for me, all I ever wanted to do was sell out 300 cap clubs and be able to tour the country doing that. That was success to me. um we've gone way past that, but whatever that level is of success, like it's achieved through business um ideas, and it's achieved through marketing and that sort of thing. So like don't get it confused, you know what I mean? Like even like your indie artists, there's some level of commercialism or some level of like not falling in line, but following a path that makes sense.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I mean, when you agreed to do this interview, that was success for me. I was very excited about that.
Oh yeah, well that's awesome. Yeah, I appreciate that.
Of course. Yeah, I've kind of figured out that like I love doing this and something I'm passionate about. So if I could turn this into like my full-time thing, that'd be awesome. So I've just been trying to hustle and get as many videos out as I can, try to get more interviews. And like the goal right now would be to get into Warp Tour and do press there, but we'll see if
Right.
that happens.
Well, I think it's one of those things where, like, just like anything, like I said, like whether it's school and then you need experience to get, the job over somebody else, or you need to be a band touring, showing your work and getting the record deal over the other band, right?
Yeah.
Whether it's that or it's doing, it's doing interviews, you have your own channel, and you've got to you put in the work, right? You're going to do interviews. You're going to create like almost like a one sheet or a bio of your experience, and that builds over time.
Yeah.
You do enough of that, you're gonna start getting the opportunities. The big
Yes.
opportunities.
So speaking of Warp Tour, I want to take a trip down memory lane for you. You guys have played Warp Tour 8 times, which is incredible. What would you say some of your favorite memories and interactions with other bands would be?
I think Warp Tour is probably the most fun at night, right? But when it's not boiling out. But yeah, I mean, there was just a lot of hanging out with the bands that, especially like We the Kings, or like The Main, or there's so many of them that we had toured with for like All Time Low, or like trying to think of who else, like early. I have early memories of, like Every Avenue, and like even like Breathe Carolina, and stuff like that. This I haven't thought about it in so long. Warped Tour's been a minute. I'm trying to think of who are the other bands you'd hang out with.
Yeah.
But yeah, and a lot of times it was just like individuals, like you click with one guy or another, and but it's a good time. There's a lot of chance to hang out in the evenings with people. Um, the days were brutal, and the sets were amazing though, and you can't beat it. And there's no denying that everybody misses it. Um, it's one of those things where it kind of it was such a staple in the scene. It provided a place for us to play every other summer, and then it provided an avenue for young aspiring artists to have a place a chance to possibly get on a stage and make some headway, or like get the ball rolling for themselves. You know that's a competitive world too, right
Mm.
there. That was crazy. Like, I mean, there's so many bands that wanted to be on Warped Tour. um but once again, they tried to kind of select the bands that were working, you know what I mean, that were like
Mm.
really pushing. Nobody wants to deal with like a band that is going to break up next year, you know what I mean,
Yeah, no, yeah.
that kind of thing. So it's always like, well, who's serious, and but there was tons of chances for bands to showcase themselves, which was something that I don't think we really have right now.
Really.
Yeah, I mean, I just don't know that there's anything that I don't think there's anything that's really giving us that the young bands that opportunity right now. I mean, not
Yeah.
not in the same way, not in that capacity. I mean, that was you know it was countrywide, and there was always like a Ernie Ball stage, or like a Kevin Says stage, where there was a chance
Mm.
some local bands to hop on at least their hometown show.
Yeah, I know with even it coming back this year, some people were just saying it's not the same because it's more of just like they're doing 3 dates or something like that, I think, and there was
Oh
a little
yeah,
bit of backlash, I think.
yeah, it's totally not going to be the same. I mean, in that sense, like it's. Oh, I don't know what is going to be the same, and what how it's going to feel
Mm.
for the day, right? I don't know how to try to like say it's not going to be the same in that way. What I mean is, it's not a grueling 2 month tour.
Yeah.
It's not a grueling 2 month tour
Mm.
where you're at your wits end by the end of it. It's gonna be kind of like a calculated thing, where like before, you woke up every morning and you didn't know if you were playing first or last,
Yeah.
and the fans didn't know either. And that was like a really cool thing about it. It was also a difficult thing about it, which like maybe was like tough, because you couldn't have like a true headliner.
Mm.
And now the way that they're doing it is a little bit in the model of like normal festivals, where there's a bit of predictability in the schedule, and you've got a true headliner, which is probably going to help it a little
Yeah.
bit in that way. In order to like bring out more people, you kind of had to have somebody who was going to close the night, and
Mm.
that just wasn't the model of Warped Tour from the beginning. And they weren't going to do that.
Yeah.
They weren't going to compromise the whole vision and the whole style of the festival. And I think that's part of why it kind of went away, is because it was tough to do it that way. It was, and kind of needed to take a break and sit back for a moment.
Yeah. I know
I mean,
you
I
probably.
I can't speak for Kevin. You know what I mean?
Mm.
I'm just saying, like, there's probably a reason why it's being done a little bit different now, to keep up
Yeah.
with kind of the modern age.
I know you probably can't answer this, but is Mayday Parade playing Warp Tour this year?
Um, it's on the table.
Really?
I just
I
want, yeah, yeah, it's definitely something that we're looking at. I mean, we want
mm,
to, of course.
yeah.
So it's yeah, yeah. I mean, Warp Tour is like a part of us. It's such a part of us. It's a huge part of what made us. We were selling CDs outside of Warp Tour, following Warp Tour, before we were ever on it.
Mm.
That's one of the biggest reasons why people started paying attention to us. because we were selling so many EPs of Tales Told by Dead Friends as an independent
Yeah.
release that we pressed ourselves for $5, putting headphones on people with like 17 people out there walking the lines doing. I'm blowing up this spot. Like everybody's going to be at Warped Tour doing it, right? It's not it's in other interviews, but like, we came out in force, and but we had good music too. You know what I mean? Like if it was
Yeah.
music, you could sell a CD for $5 all day. People feel like they want to support you as an artist or whatever, just because you're out there hustling or whatever. You could do that all day, but in order for it to have legs and or wings and take off, it needed to be something that was good enough to have like word of mouth. People were passing it around, people were talking about it, it was buzzing, and then labels were buzzing about it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. That was more than an answer I thought I'd be able to get from you about that.
Yeah, it's one of those things. I mean, like, tell you the truth, there's so many we have so many things that we've got in the plans for the year, and you know we're just excited to be out and touring and being able to, and being kind of like in high demand right now. It's really cool, and
Yeah.
that the resurgence of like the emo scene, and like I guess kind of like that 20-year interval of that turnover of like it like things come in waves. Fashion music comes in, it comes back around. It's emo's having a moment right now, so it's a really exciting time for us.
Yeah, totally. All right. It's telling me I got about 9 minutes left here. So I got a couple questions I want to just end the interview with here.
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
All right. So just a couple fun questions. What's your favorite movie?
Oh, that's a tough one, man, because I'm not like a movie guy, really.
Hmm.
My go-to answer is always Last of the Mohicans, because that's just a classic that I love and I've always loved. I feel like most things, that's kind of like asking me what my favorite band is, because I would always say like Guns N' Roses, right? But
Okay.
then eventually I go like, well, yeah, but I don't even put Guns N' Roses on anymore because I listened to it so many times.
Yeah.
So like I don't have like a replacement new one is my problem. Um,
Can't go wrong with the classic though.
yeah, so I'm gonna stick with it.
All right. What's one of your favorite songs in your current rotation?
Oh man, current rotation. I'm so bad with song titles. Can I cheat and look at my
Sure.
app?
Go
My
ahead.
music? Cause like I just go through. I blank too, man. I'm listening to music all day too. Like that's what's messed up. You know
Oh,
what's
me
really
too.
cool? Okay. See, this is what's crazy. It's like I wouldn't have thought about this song had I not pulled it up. But the coolest song that I've heard recently is Neck Deep, Sort Yourself Out. That song is so sick,
Oh
and
my
that
gosh,
new
yeah.
release, I love that new release. It's so good. Um, yeah,
That
I mean,
whole album's just it's phenomenal. It was so
it
good.
is. It is. They like knocked it out of the park. I'm so excited for them. I hope they have a lot of success with it.
Oh yeah.
'Cause they deserve that crap. Um, I'm listening to a ton of MGK right now,
I've been there too. I've been
and
there
like
too.
And I like it's funny because like it's almost like that From First to Last album, which this is probably going too far back for anybody, but like if you go listen to like From First to Last Heroin record,
Mm.
that record is so good. It took me a whole year to even care about it. I listened to it, I was like, what the hell is this?
Yeah, yeah.
I was like, and then a year later, like a buddy, my tattoo artist at the time, well, it's not like I get other tattoos. He's always been my tattoo artist. Was like, he was like, let's listen to that album again because I think you missed it. And he
Mm.
puts it on while he's tattooing me, and I'm listening to it, going, yeah, I missed it. I was like, that album's so good,
Yeah.
And like Machine Gun Kelly's kind of like that same thing too. Like, and everybody knows it.
Oh
Like
yeah.
everybody knows it's good. They just don't want to like it because
Hmm.
they feel like it's like I don't know. It's like this like sellout thing or something. I don't know. I mean, which it is, I guess, right?
Yeah,
Like
I mean
that's kind of that album or one of his albums or whatever. But
I think it's just cool to see rock music in the mainstream.
yeah, I don't care who's doing it, right? Like I don't care
Yeah.
he's coming from like the rap world, and I wish more people from the rap world would do it
Mm.
because
Yeah.
he did it right. He did it right. I mean,
Yes. Yeah.
I wonder what people's holdup is with that. I wonder if it's like too pop for them. See, my thing is I love pop.
Me
Like I
too.
love like pop music, and was it Sabrina Carpenter right now? She's
Yeah.
really having a moment, and it's like all her stuff is really cool. But yeah, whatever that first single was, I can't remember what it's titled right now. Like it kept coming on in Goodwill. I would like shop it like so it must have got
Uh,
playlisted at like
was it
Goodwill.
My Ex's Best Friend?
I don't know.
Forget
It's
Me
whatever.
Too.
No, I'm gonna forget. I don't even know if I know it if you said it, but like it just kept
Mm.
going on, and I was like, what is this song? And I was like, oh, I don't know who this is. She must be like a new artist or something. I don't think she was new. I think it was just new to me.
Mm.
Like that kind of stuff. Like I just love pop
Yeah.
music, right? And so I can totally respect what he's doing. And I go through and like listen to it, and I go like, he's doing all this cool stuff that like everybody it's not brand new, he's just doing it in a better way, like
Yeah.
he's
No,
just killing
totally.
it. I wonder where people's hold up is it that like is it that he's doing it's too pop for them, or like or they just don't like the idea of him. I don't really understand, but it's good stuff, man.
I mean, he's got Travis Barker helping him out with it too, which is really cool to see.
Yeah, oh yeah, well he almost like created a whole genre.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
It's like I joked about it the other day with the guy with our producers we were working with in a session. I was like I think Blink 182 is like a genre now.
Yeah.
I was like listen to all these other artists that are coming out that are kind of doing it, and also like kids who are coming kind of from that hip hop
Mm.
rap world, like doing a lot of that kind of thing, working with like doing that Blink style. And I'm like, I think it's like a genre. I think this is about to be like a whole thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, this is yeah. I went off on a tangent.
You're good. All right. You got any favorite sports teams?
Florida State. That's I don't keep up with
Mm.
like pros too much. I'm from Tallahassee, and that's the university there. And I didn't go there, right? We started touring right out of high school, but like
Yeah.
football's big in Tallahassee, Florida, and Florida State is my team. I've tried to attach to like pro teams, like NFL or something. Like, you know, I didn't grow up in a town with pro league anything, so
Yeah.
anytime I've tried to attach to something, it's so half-hearted compared to my love for like college football and Florida State football that like I'm like, what am I doing? I'm like trying to fool myself into caring about NFL. And I'll watch the games because I like football, but you know, it's nothing like my passion for like Florida State football.
Yeah. All right. My one last question for you is who are who are a couple of your biggest influences as far as music?
Uh, um, that's always changing. It's
Hmm.
always changing, you
Who are
know.
like a couple bands you grew up listening to?
Well, Guns N' Roses, like I mentioned before, but like I don't feel like it really influences me. But like the ones that did were like high school, like Taking Back Sunday and Jimmy Eat World and
Oh
Newfound Glory
yeah.
and that kind of stuff. More recently, I love writing music that feels kind of like Coldplay, like that
Okay.
like that's my vibe. That's what I feel like I do well, you
Yeah.
know? Um,
I can hear that in some of your stuff actually. Yeah. Now that you mention that.
yeah, and songs like Satellite or like Sideways or like Letting Go or like you know, tracks like that that definitely
Mm.
has that vibe, you know, trying to pull from that feeling, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's my jam.
All right. Well, thanks for sitting down to talk with me today. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, for sure, Daniel. I appreciate you, man. Thank you.
Yeah. I'm gonna be definitely trying to get tickets to come see you guys in Asbury Park in May. I'm really excited for that.
Yeah, man. Yeah, it's gonna be good. Yeah, also hopefully I'll see you out there. All right.
Yeah. Hey, maybe you can get me back and we can get a picture.
All right, I'll let you know.
Awesome. I appreciate it. All right. If you want to plug your social media, your merch, tour, and everything like that, real quickly.
Yeah, I mean, you can just go to maydayparade.com for all that. You know, it's all there. You know, we've got the touring coming up. We always have merch. Always got, you know, albums and stuff. So if you're, you know, that's the thing to always check out. And then
Yeah.
also, you know, if you're like a new up and coming artist, or if you're like an aspiring artist, if you love to songwrite for fun, you know, if you're just wanting to pick up a guitar, you've already picked it up, but you don't really know where you should start, besides playing some chords, like, please hit me up on Instagram, Brooks Mayday. And all my info's there, but I do Zoom one-on-one sessions with people all the time. So hit me up. I'd love to work with you.
All right, awesome. I'll leave all your links down below. Be sure to check out Mayday Parade on their tour coming up, and check out their new album Sweet and their new single that's out, By the Way. And we will see you guys next time. Thanks for coming.
Heck yeah.